Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. My name is Barbara Thompson. Each week, I'll be bringing you a self-care expert or a message to help you to discover how to live your best life and understand your mind-body connection. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now, let the Studio Chat begin. Welcome to episode 73. It's so nice to have you guys here today. My guest is Kate Jackson. And you may remember her back on the 8th of May last year, where she was my guest on episode 15, where we spoke about self-love. So I'm really honoured and so grateful that she wanted to join me again on my podcast. Hi, Kate.
Hi, babe. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm really, what did I say? I love seeing you. I love talking to you. And I know that this episode I've watched you grow and change, and just you've always been just this amazing, powerful woman that I've always admired. And now I look at what you're doing and what you're building, and I'm so in awe of you. So, thank you for coming on my podcast today and sharing all your knowledge and all your expertise and sharing yourself with my audience.
So much. That was bloody beautiful.
Came from the heart. So can you please share with my listeners, because I know if some people have gone back to episode 15, I definitely highly recommend going back to listen to that first. Otherwise, just so people know who you are, where you live, and just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, cool. So I am a 41-year-old woman. I live in Whangamatā, which is a little beach town on the east coast of New Zealand. I am a mum. I have a 14-year-old son. I am a fully qualified PT and fitness instructor, and I now own my own online training business. I don't want to say ex-fitness competitor because you just never know. I've competed 12 times over 6 years. I'm a fitness model. I am a survivor of domestic violence, of all of the addictions, it feels like at times, and eating disorder. I am super passionate about mental health and self-love and self-belief, and yeah, that's about it, really. Well, there's so much more, but that's the facts. That's where I'm at right now.
Thank you. That just gives people a bit of an insight into who you are. But I know that I think we talked about this in the last podcast. I was trying to think, how did you and I connect? And I'm pretty sure it was backstage at one of the shows that we competed at together.
It so was. It actually was. You were sitting down underneath a blanket eating rice cakes, I think, and you were waiting to go on. You were in a class that was after mine, but right at the end of the day. So we just met and chatted and just connected right from there, like yonks ago. So long.
I think that was
maybe 2016.
Yeah, or 2015, something like that. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And we've stayed connected ever since. How cool is that a sport like that can bring people together?
Oh, it's the best. The best thing about that sport is the connections that you make.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Oh my gosh. So you mentioned in there that you now have an online training business. What is it called?
Called At You by Katie.
Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So I guess the reason why I called it At You by Katie is because it is all about you, because we're all unique individuals. And then the by Katie is because obviously I am right by your side through every rep and so much more. But yeah, it's really, it's whatever you want it to be for you, and I help you kind of tailor that.
So I feel like it's an extension of you, and that's how you've named the business, because I've been watching you and for a while and what you do in your business. And even though it's very individualized, I think at the end of the day, with any profession that you do, any business that you have, people come to you for you.
Yeah, totally.
So I think for your business, you can offer anything. And as great as the packages are, as great as the services, as great as how quickly you are to get back to their DMs and all that kind of stuff, and how great we post on social media, at the end of the day, it comes down to the person, and that person is you.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think a lot of women connect with you, because I tell you what, babe, you're like one in a million. So I think there's not many people in this world that are brave enough and vulnerable enough to put their heart on their sleeve after everything that you've been through, and to give yourself permission to be yourself.
Yeah.
And what that does is that actually flows on to other women for them to be themselves.
Totally. It's funny that you should say that, because that this kind of stuff really, really scares me. Like doing podcasts, even turning on my live video to do my trainings for my girls has been massive for me. But, I literally was at a class last night that I was taking at the gym, and I had a woman say to me, she was like, I just love seeing you achieve these things. And when I see you do them, Katie, I'm just like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm like, yes, that is the whole reason why I'm doing it, I shine my light, so then you know that you can shine yours as well. That's what we're all here for.
Yeah. And why can't we as women all be like that together, or be supportive? And I
Yes.
know that sounds so cliche and so like bumper sticker, like kumbaya, let's hold hands and I don't know, dance around the fire. But it's more like, why can't we just get on?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I love that. Okay, so your business is an online training business. Why now?
So the funny thing is that I would love to say that I made a conscious decision and a choice to do this, and I didn't. I got called for this hard out. Like my girls that are coming to my pump classes at the gym, what happened was Cyclone Gabrielle hit New Zealand, and our roads got absolutely smashed here in the Coromandel. So a lot of my girls couldn't make my classes, and they were like, please, 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 can you do them online? And I was like, oh my gosh. And there are so many coaches out there doing this that I actually tried to flick them on to other coaches. So I was like, this girl's amazing and this woman's amazing. And they were like, no, but we want to train with you. So I really felt like I just went ahead and did it, and that's how it started. So, but I also feel like there is a massive mental health crisis in the world at the moment. And so the reason why I'm choosing to do it now is because the time is now. Like everything, like, I'm already 41. I don't want to get to the end of my life and look back and think I could have done so much more. And I have recently, a year ago, I went through once again, I went through a really dark time in my life, and I literally made a deal with the universe. And I said, if you get me through this, then I promise that I will start shining my light brighter, and I will turn around and I will help others how I, and teach them what I have learned myself, because I have done a whole lot of healing, and I've obviously been super consistent with my training, which is probably the ultimate thing that I do. And I move my body every day because I know how important it is. And I really want to help people move their bodies, because it is literally just shifting energy, and it is working. It's not just about building muscle, but it's working on mobility, it's working on mindset, it's working on mental health. And sometimes when I have people ask me, why do you train? I'm like, I'm training for life, man. Like I'm training for like the zombie apocalypse. I'm training for, so that I can still get myself out of bed when I'm 80, not just to look good naked, but to feel good. Like we should be taking care of our bodies.
Yeah, that's a really great, something just to be a reminder, because a lot of the time we can get caught up in life. We can get caught up in the busyness of the school runs, or the business, or the bills, or the home stuff, or we can get caught up in all the stress, or the I need to do this, or I should do this, or I must do this. When really, you're saying is just we need to move our bodies.
Well, and that's the cool thing, right? Is that, and this is what I say to my girls, is that because they do this, they say the same things. Like, I can't turn up to training because I've got this, that, and every other thing. So do I. But it's a non-negotiable for me. I allocate a time in my day where that is specifically for my training, and it's a non-negotiable, and it is the ultimate form of self-love and self-care. Like you are honoring yourself. You're taking care of yourself so that you can take care of everybody else. Like you actually deserve to make that time for yourself, and then everything else actually runs so much better. You're more able and more capable to deal with stuff in your day because you're taking care of yourself on that level.
Mm. Yeah, where we've been taught, and it's a learned behavior. It's a story that we carry, whether we've seen our parents do it, or it's like, yeah, a story, or uh, just the way that we live our life is we give everything to others and then we'll give back to ourselves. So it's kind of the wrong way around.
Totally. Yeah. And the cool thing is that, a lot of us are mums, or, maybe we don't have children, but we all have people around us that are watching us. So if you start taking yourself seriously, if you start taking care of yourself, your children witness that, your friends witness that, the neighbor witnesses that, and I feel like it has a flow on effect. And you are literally, like a lot of people, I get it. We get tired. Life is stressful and it bogs us down, but you've got to spend energy to get it back. Like the more you move your body, the more you actually feel like moving. So it's like, I feel like it is the ultimate medicine on this planet at this time.
And it's free.
Yeah, totally.
It can be free, like just walking or going for a jog or doing some push-ups on a park bench or doing some lunges or like star jumps or anything. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated with all these bloody lifts and those stupid there's only one exercise I hate in the gym, and everyone always comes for me when I talk about it. The hip thrust.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I just think it's overrated, and I just think it's bullshit, and I just not a fan of it for many reasons.
I guess that's something that I pride my, like, obviously, I am me. And I'm unique, and my training is unique. So I'm trying to I'm making it fun, because I feel like I have got this, like I'm responsible for helping create a lifestyle within somebody, to get them addicted to something that they might not naturally want to. Like training is hard. Okay. It's not thing to do. It's not cocktails by the pool. It's training. Okay. So I try to make it fun and I mix it up. So this is what a typical week looks like for us. We lift, but we only lift 2 days a week. We have 1 day a week that's fully dedicated to glutes. We have another day that's a bit of cardio, and then we have the 5th day is stretching and core. So I like to think that I'm involving everything in that. And I guess with my bodybuilding background, what was happening was I was lifting heavy like 5 days a week, and I was doing massive lifts, like talking like over 100 kgs. And I was burnt out. My cortisol was through the roof. I was gaining weight and didn't know why. And I was freaking miserable. And I guess as I've gotten older, I've learned that it's not just, like it's cool to release cortisol and to train and to go hard, but we as women also need to calm the fuck down. So there's a lot of breath work in my training between sets as well. Sometimes we dance. We've started doing somatic shaking to release stuck energy in our bodies. Like every day is different with me. Every week is different, but there is still routine and there are still certain lifts that we do. But yeah, it's fun, man. It's a total vibe.
It sounds like fun. It sounds like so much fun. So if someone wants to join up, what does it look like? So is it on a live, and like, so while you're training, I would be training type of thing?
So I obviously have got my personal Instagram page, and then I've got another page which is called At You by Katie, and it is private. So if people contact me on my personal Instagram, and then if they're interested and they want to join, it's $30 per week, and they get me as their coach. So I can also help them with nutrition. I also do a lot of inner work as well. So we do journaling. So I'm really passionate about getting my girls to work out who they are and what their goals are and things like that. So then I would add you to the private page, and then I go live Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. and you can either join the live, but you don't get seen on the camera. It's just me, but you can join the live. Otherwise, you can replay it anytime. So the whole concept with me is that you can train anytime, anywhere, even in your underwear, because nobody sees you. But you can also take my videos and you can go do them in a gym if you want to. But you might decide that you don't want to do any lifting with me whatsoever. So you would only, like at the moment, I think I've got 105 training videos on my page. So you can go back and you could just do the stretching and the glute sessions if that's what you wanted to do. So I can either help structure a training style based on your goals, or you can choose to track with me, which is doing all 5 of the different trainings each week and then moving through week after week after that.
How good is that for accountability? So for a lot of us that I haven't moved, for a long time, and when you go through grief or hard times in your life, certain things just fall from the side. You just don't feel like doing them. But I know exercise and moving your body for most people, even when you've got an athletic background, at one point in your life, you'll hit a wall where you just don't feel like it, you don't want to do it. And how beautiful it is for you to have this business where you can hold people's hands and, okay, you're available 5 times a week. So someone could be like, okay, I'm just going to show up every day and be accountable every day, because I can tell you, and I can tell people listening to this, is most people do not want to exercise every day. Even the athletes will not want to, Australia and New Zealand, the top Olympic athletes, absolutely, most of the time they'd wake up and be like, oh, I want to stay in bed. But then they go, no, I'm going to flip the switch. Out I go, put my gear on, and I'm off. It's a natural human condition to not want to do it.
Yeah, totally. And I say that to my girls all the time. Like, I am going to out myself here and be totally honest. I don't feel like training every day, but I'm so lucky because that's my job. That's what I've got to show up for my girls. So what I did was I actually spun that around on them. And I was like, in the mornings when you don't want to show up for training, if you can't do it for you, do it for me. Because we're a community. I'm trying to create this team, this tribe. I'm creating this team and this tribe of women who all, just want to feel strong and sexy and safe. And, my heart lights up when I get the feedback from my girls. They're like, oh my God, I just did this. Or, oh my God, I just lifted this off the back of the truck and I didn't have to ask my husband to. And it's like, it's totally liberating, to have these women achieve their goals and to realize that we're all capable of so much more.
Mm. What I'm hearing is that you're building a community of connection. So not only are you providing a service, what you're enabling these women to do is build connections with each other as well.
Totally, yeah. And what the cool thing is, another cool thing with my business is that, I work with my girls, with my ladies, however they want to be worked with. So some of them just want to be left alone and they just tick along and they want to be checked in on maybe once a week. Other girls need me to hold their hand a little bit tighter. And so I'm on the phone to them every single day. I've got one girl who is really wanting to nail her nutrition at the moment. So I track her on my Fitness Pal and I'm helping her with her nutrition. So everybody is slightly different in their own unique ways. And I love that. I love that I'm getting to take care of them all in a different way, and yet they all see my stories and I get to take care of them as a team as well.
Mm. How do you take care of yourself? And you can't say training. I'm putting you on the spot here.
But how I take care of myself is definitely through journaling. So I do a lot of writing. This has been a really difficult thing for me to do. So moving is very easy for me and I love to dance and I love music, but I have really needed to start practicing the art of slowing down and just being. And I take care of myself by basically being my very own best friend. And I feel stupid when I say that, but I have been on this self-love journey that is definitely my mission and my lesson in this life. And I believe that to get for me to be I've been dubbed the self-love queen. For me to be the self-love queen, I had to know self-hatred as well. So taking care of myself is something that's super, super important, especially because I just naturally want to take care of everybody else. But I know that people are looking at me as, as a leader or as a guide or as a role model. And so I make sure that, I either don't drink or I don't drink very often at all. I don't eat processed foods. I'm not saying that you all have to live this way, but I have learned what my soul needs. And I know that, when I have too much time on social media, or, when I don't get enough sleep, or when I eat, highly processed foods, it really, really affects me. So I take care of myself by protecting myself from those things.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. What's the biggest surprise that you've had since starting a business and being a business owner?
Ooh, the biggest surprise has probably been, this is really hard for me to articulate. The biggest surprise for me was I didn't is the lack of support that I have felt from other people in the fitness industry. And I don't want this to be taken negatively or taken the wrong way. Hear me out. Don't get me wrong here. And I definitely don't. I guess what I've learned is that I didn't need their support, that for me to shine my light, I literally just need to shine my fucking light. But I didn't realize how much my light would offend others. So it's been misunderstood or taken the wrong way. And, I definitely don't want to be taking other coaches' clients. I'm not trying to get people out of gyms or trying to stop people from moving the way that they are moving. I'm literally just offering another avenue, another way, another person who can train and to coach you. So, and I do realize that for me to feel like my light offended others, that was obviously something that was going on within me. So I think that what it actually came down to was that my light frightened me so much. And I think it's because I am a girl who has been in really dark places for a really long time. And so I got so used to my dark and I got so comfortable with it that my light petrifies me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It absolutely does. And I think sometimes when we work in a community where we're not supported, same with my line of work too. There's some people that support people, there's some people that don't. And if anyone is a business owner listening to this, and sometimes you feel unsupported by your community, a lot of that is projection from other people. So they're projecting their fears, their stuff onto you, and we don't need to take that. But while you were talking, I Googled, because I should know because I talk about this with my clients a lot, and I normally get them to Google it for themselves so they can see. But I just had a look. I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, but I just Googled how many people are there in the world, right? So around about 8.1 billion people. Now, I'll tell you what, there's enough people for all of us to probably have 4 or 5 times the amount of clients that we ever have wanted. There's an abundance of people. So it's not as if I'm taking from your pie and you're taking from mine. If we all kind of work together, it makes a stronger community, and like the referral system too. So say, for example, I have a few trainers that I work with individually. So I have some trainers that come to me for counseling sessions, because you think about it, as someone, I've worked in the fitness industry as well, managing gyms and stuff, and I got the same. This was before any counseling experience, but I wasn't a trainer, but I managed gyms, and people would still come to me and tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. I don't know what to do with that. And a lot of people that are in the beautician world, in the training world, in the health and fitness world, people come to you at their most vulnerable. People come to you when they need help in changing. They're not happy. Yeah. And so when they feel comfortable enough, they open up to you. And so I have trainers that come and see me personally to debrief and really help them move through that stuff, because when you talk with people, they give you energy and emotions, and you can store that up, and sometimes it can really affect you. But also, I like to work with trainers as a referral system like you and I have, as the kind of complete package that when there is a client that may need someone to talk to, like me, if I have someone that suits your expertise, I send them your way. And if you have someone that you think, I think you would be really good, I think you'd be a good fit for Barbara, and I think you'd be good to talk to her, you refer someone on. And that's what it's about, is building a supportive community. That's how we I personally couldn't think of doing anything different.
Yeah, totally. And I guess that's, you're right. Like, I feel like, I learned this when I was studying to be a PT. Like, obviously I'm not a qualified nutritionist. I know the basics of it, but if somebody has got an eating disorder, or they've got, like a condition where they can't eat certain foods, I'm going to refer them to a qualified nutritionist. Just like with my girls, like I claim that movement helps with mental health, right? I'm not saying that it fixes it. I'm just saying it helps, right? It is actually on that deeper level where they're actually needing a therapist. That's not necessarily what I've done a life coaching course, and I can help you as a coach and I can help you as a friend. But sometimes when it's out of my depth, then obviously I'm going to refer, them on to somebody like yourself. And I do, I really would love to see that we all band together, around that campfire holding hands. and
Fire.
that way, because, I can help women with their training, and I can help motivate and inspire them, and you can help them in a different way. But also, I think that when I look at other women who are doing exactly what I'm doing, and there are a lot of us doing it, I don't want to take your clients. But if Sally wants to train with me because she resonates with me more, then sweet, then that's awesome. But if she doesn't resonate with me and she likes your training better, I'm just stoked that she's training, that she's moving her body. And I think that that's what we should all stand for, is that we're just wanting to get society moving, you know?
Yeah. And look, same in my counseling practice. Some people will meet me and feel comfortable, and others don't. And it was interesting because I was speaking to a client couple of days ago, and she was really fresh to counseling, and she was like, it's so interesting because I asked her, I said, do you mind me asking you, and I said, can I share this? And she was like, yeah, that's fine if you need to share it with someone else. Because I said, it's so interesting that I know as a counselor, and I know as a human, that when I went through therapy myself, you have stages where you really want to seek help, and you're in that moment of, I need to talk to someone. And that quickly disappears to, oh, no, I can do it. No, I need help. No. And it keeps coming and going, and it doesn't hang around for long. And that's the thing is, this lady said, like, she obviously booked at a time where she really wanted to talk to someone. And she said, I'm so glad I did. And I said, why was that? And she said, it's not what I thought it would be. It's pretty cool. It's not scary. It's not what I thought it was. And she's built a good relationship with me. So she was like, I really like you and I feel comfortable, which that would be for any counselor. I'm not going to gel with everyone, but that's what you said. It's about the person, but it's in your line of work or my line of work where the similarities is we're here to serve. We're here to help that person. And I take it that one step further is, for the first 38 years of my life, I learned some really hard lessons. And if you're sitting in front of me and I can make that a shortcut for you, you damn well better believe it that I'm going to make it a shortcut. So you don't have to go through what I went through.
Totally. And you know what's super cool is that how many times have I said, do you know what's cool? Everything is cool, but
good. Lean into that.
Is that when you realize that, like when you stop trying to be for everyone. So I don't want to train with the whole world. I want to just be my unique self and just know that I will naturally attract the girls that resonate with me. Then it's so freeing for me. I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not. I can just fly my freak flag, and then my fellow weirdos will find me, So, because I don't want to attract somebody into my business because I've pretended to be a certain way and then have to keep pretending, like I am a bit quirky. I am a bit unique, like my live videos, there's normally, something funny will come up, and I always speak my mind. So, it's so cool and so liberating when you finally just realize that you being you is enough. It's that, and it's actually way more simple. There's way more peace in that.
Yeah, you being you inspires other people to, and again, it comes back to them being themselves. I'd love to ask you another question, and that is, I want like a positive thing or a good thing in starting your business. What's something that you didn't expect to happen? And like a positive or a good thing that you're like, oh my God.
It's kind of cute. It's to do with my son.
I love it.
So obviously, so because I am 41 and I have like I have to train differently than I did when I was in my 20s, right? So I guess if you were to ask me who this is for, it would be, sort of women in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, right? But what I didn't realize, because I've got a 14-year-old son, and a lot of his girlfriend and a lot of his and her friends follow me on Instagram, and they love my stories, which is so cute. And I didn't expect my son to believe in my business and me so much. And he probably talks about At You by Katie more than I do with other people. And so I didn't expect to attract that younger generation. And obviously I've got, a very special bond with my son. I've raised him on my own. And so we are very close. But I didn't really expect him to jump on board so much. And he even said to me the other day, "Hey, mum, like, if you were to ever die, I can literally run your page because there's like 105 training videos on there, and it'll be awesome." So yeah, and he's like made me a business logo, and he reminds me to believe in myself, because every day I forget to, because I'm a human being as well, and it just makes me even more passionate about me being the person that believes in women as well, so that was something that I didn't expect to happen.
What an amazing thing. And when you look at it, a lot of the time with parents that I work with, it's so interesting that you're a role model for your child and you're showing them how to live their life. So you're a beautiful example of showing your son what it looks like to get uncomfortable, what it looks like to chase what you want to do, what it looks like to care for yourself. And he's like, that's his normal. His normal growing up is, I can speak my mind. I'm going to follow my passion. I'm going to follow my dreams. I'm enough. And this is how I take care of myself. And you have shown him how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Massive high five across the across the Tasman to you, my girl. That is fantastic. And so your business is all about obviously like calming the nervous system, eating food, loving yourself within, and that's with mental health. So it's a full mind body connection, isn't it?
Yeah, so generally I'm going to totally what's the word, like, generalize here, but I feel like most women their goal tends to be, I want to lose body fat. They want to lose body fat. They're not happy with how they look. They're pretty tired. They're pretty sluggish, and they're not happy, right? So they come to me, and they're generally not eating enough food, because we think that to lose body fat we need to not be eating, which is not the case at all. You need your soul to feel safe with you and to trust you. So I teach them to start eating food again and to fuel their body, because we are going to be moving it, right? So we need to be doing that. But also, and I learned this the hard way, because I gained a lot of weight after my last competition, and I went through some stuff and I gained a lot of weight, and I just kept smashing my body, and I was miserable, and I just didn't know how to change it. And it only started shifting for me. It only started getting better for me when I finally made peace with it, and I just let go, and I loved and accepted myself for where I was at, because I believe that it's only when you do that that you're able to make changes, right? You have to literally turn back around, embrace yourself, who you are, for wherever you're at right now. We've all struggled in this life. We've all gotten ourselves into places and spaces, and where we feel uncomfortable, we're not happy, but we have the ability to turn it around. But you have to accept where you're at first. And so I am very much about getting them to love themselves. And a lot of, and I hope my girls don't mind me saying this, and I keep everything about them confidential, but a lot of my girls in my group really struggle to look in a mirror, to look in a mirror. And we've been doing that. We've been doing that in our classes. And, I've been teaching them about journaling, about, like, every day we write down like 10 things that we love about ourselves. And when you first start doing that process, it's really hard to come up with one thing that you love about yourself. But then when you come up with the one thing, you're like, oh yeah, but I also love this and this and this. And I guess that's how gratitude works as well. But it's definitely about, just being your own hype girl, like I'm obviously there and guiding them and holding their hand, but they're the ones that had to reach out to me in the beginning. I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't really speak up about it. I'm just doing my thing over here, and I'm trusting that the universe will send people my way when they're ready. But you have to, and I guess that's the thing, is that you're not turning up to a gym for a PT session. You have to press play. Yeah, I'll message you and I'll say, hey, you said that you were training today. I can do that. But you need to create that environment, with whether it's within your home or whether you're going to do it in a gym. And we also do a lot of things, like everybody is different, right? We all have different size dumbbells that we're working with. So on my lifting days, I do something where I do 1 minute sets for the exercises that we're doing. And that way, if you've got light weights, you're going to do that whole minute, because you might be wanting to train differently to the girls that are lifting heavier. They might have the girls that are lifting heavy that are really wanting to build muscle might only do 8 reps in that 1 minute, and they get a longer rest. So you really need to be guiding yourself through the training, because I can't see you. I can't see what you're doing. So it really helps you learn about you, because even though I'm there, like I said, to guide you, I might go into a movement and you might go, holy I can't actually do that right now, or I've got this injury or whatever, and can't do that movement. So you need to pivot in that moment. You need to come up with something different. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So it's kind of cool that I can't see them, right? Because I'm not babying them. They have to teach themselves. And I will often say to them, like, let me know if you've got an injury and I'll give you an alternative. Otherwise, if we move into a movement and you can't do it, then you're going to drop back and do the one before that, or do something different.
Yeah. And do you help people, like, say if they're pretty new to lifting and stuff, or it's been a while, do you give them guidance that, okay, maybe with bicep curls, like, is there a part of the program that when you do bicep curls or hammies or anything like that, say if I was doing bicep curls with 8 kilos and then I want to move up, I can kind of say to you, oh, should I move up to 10 or should I stay at 8? Or where should I, like, people that just don't, because that's sometimes the hardest thing about weight training or online training, is where to start with a weight and how to know when to go up, or it's really hard.
I suppose with my girls, because all of them at the moment are training from home, so they've just got one set of dumbbells. So most of them will go out and buy a set of 5 kgs at the moment.
Okay.
And you think about weights, to go from 5 kgs up to 6 kgs, that's actually a massive jump. So my training is unique and awesome in the sense that I am sneaking in progression for them. So they've been training with me for months, and they're on those 5 kg dumbbells and they're still using that same weight. But I'll do things like I'll slow down the tempo, right? So we're doing slower reps, or we're doing longer sets, or we're doing holds. So I'm sneaking in that progression. And then after a little while, I'll say, hey, Tracy, maybe now is time to go get those 6 kgs. And then they'll go do that, right? So, and then she's also got the drop down option. So she might start a set with me and do 3 reps with her 6 kgs and then drop set it herself and go back to her 5s. But that is something, that is something to work with, that I can work with individually with the girls. And quite clearly, I'm good at talking. So I also talk through my training, through my training videos. So even though you might train with me for a long time, I will still prompt you. I'm still, like, squeeze your glutes, brace your core, make sure your shoulder to elbow stays still. So I'm literally giving you the guidelines so that you can perform the lift correctly.
Yeah. And do you work with people out of New Zealand as well? If there's some Australian women listening, or look, I actually have people now all around the world listening to this. So, yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just thought of it then. I thought, gosh, actually, my audience is growing quite rapidly on this podcast, and people all around the world. So hello, everyone all around the world. I've seen the numbers, and I've seen my podcast basically double from what it was from when I first started. So I actually have to be mindful that I started this podcast off just being Australia, New Zealand. But now it's kind of
global.
Yeah, I think, oh my God, people are listening to me across the world. I'm so sorry that you have to hear my voice. Anyway.
And me with my Kiwi accent. I would love to have women from all over the world join my
Okay, yeah. So where can they like find you? What's the page for them to reach out to you to talk to you?
So they can either request my page, which is at you underscore by underscore Katie, or it might be easier to find me on my personal page, which is at Katie Fit Model. And that's on
Yeah,
Instagram.
cool. Okay, and I'll tag all of that like in the notes and stuff as well. Um, it's so interesting because our first chat, May last year, can you believe it, was about self-love. Would you have thought when you're in May, and I know where you were at in May too, to where you are now in August, like a year or more later, like where your life is now, could you have ever seen that for yourself?
Oh, I didn't see this happening. Like I said, I literally got called. I feel like the universe sent in a phone call to me and I had to take the call. There were so many different things that happened that was the universe, or whoever you want to think of, whatever you believe in out there, because I don't want to offend anyone, universe or God or whatever, was screaming at me, this is what you need to do. Like I was guided and pushed until I stepped up. And now I've stepped up, and it is honestly, like, I think the reason why I was so nervous about doing this podcast, because this is the first time that I've spoken publicly about this, and I thank you so much for doing this with me, is that this is something that is so precious and so important to me. Like, it just lights me. I've got goosebumps right now. It just lights me up so much that I can do this. That, I did also say to you before we pushed record, sometimes I feel like my gift is a curse because it's freaking hard. It is so hard. And I think that a reason why I don't do lots of advertising and putting myself out there is because, I'm a real human. I'm scared of rejection as well. And I'm not selling a product. I'm not selling a shampoo or conditioner. I'm me. My service is me. So it is hard, but it is teaching me so much, and that in turn is helping me be an even better coach. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I've got 100 girls on my team, because I don't, but it's not been easy. It's definitely not been easy, but it's been so rewarding. And the fact that it's not been easy for me, and I have had challenges and obstacles all of the way, means that it has just been prompting me to be an even better coach. I'm like, okay, what else then? I'll dig a bit deeper. Okay, well, I need to work on this part of me. And, I've been doing this I started my online training business 5 months ago. And I started before I was ready, which is a message that I want to send out there to the world, to just make a start and work it out way, And I obviously am always, I'm brainstorming and I'm trying to think about where I'm going to take us, especially, like summer is coming up. So I'm gearing us up for that. But I'm just kind of working it out as I go. And I guess while I am still building my team, I'm kind of looking at the women that are coming on board, and I'm listening to them, and I'm seeing what they want, and I'm answering their calls, and I'm kind of, in a sense, I don't like to say this, but I'm kind of making it up as I go, but I do have this general idea, and I just come from a place in my heart that is so massive. I just want to help so many people.
Oh, yeah, I want you to change it and say, I will help so many people. You're going to help so many people. You are helping so many people. And the reason why I've got you on too, what I love hearing about you is you're doing it your way. There's no right or wrong way here. Most business owners, if they're being honest, if anyone owns a business right now and you're listening to this, you have many days. I'm speaking, me included, that you just think, fuck this. I'm going to close up and get a 9 to 5. So much easier. Why am I doing this? Who am I? I'm no one special. We all, as we level up, every growth level we get, we have that imposter syndrome going, shut up, what are you doing? No one's going to come and see you. You're a failure. Wait until everyone works out that you know nothing. I want everyone to know that running commentary in your head, even though it feels real, is like a factory setting in our brain. Why do we all have it? We all have different upbringings, different backgrounds, but one thing is true. When you step out of your comfort zone and run a business or try something new, that voice is there, and we all have it. And I want to bring some, I just want to bring some light to that it's, the thing about you, Kate, is you show up every day. You show up, even if you don't want to train, even if you don't want to do the live video, And that's where your growth comes from. You just are there every day.
Consistent as, mate. That's one thing I've got going. Well, that's one of the things I've got going for me. And I guess, you're right. Like, when sometimes I feel very lost in this and I'm like, and then I realize that the reason why I feel lost is because there is no cookie cutter program that I'm following here. I'm literally creating a new way, a new pathway, and it's all me for my girls. So, of course I'm going to feel lost. In fact, that makes total sense, but I get to find the way. And that's amazing.
You get to do it your way because you're you. And when you set it all up, people come to your business for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to put all your links and stuff down below so people can contact you if they want to work with you or have any questions. But thank you for just being who you are. And again, I know people listening to this will get something from it and be like, I can do that, or I'll go and message her and I'll start exercising, or I'll start doing this. So your ripple effect is, even if one person listens to this podcast today, let's hope that they've taken something from it. And how beautiful is that we can help someone, because we both have been through some really hard stuff, and that's life. It will continue to be up and down and round the corner. But we both have this thing of where sometimes we just keep showing up, and we both message each other and we're like, hey, babe, we're still here. We're still going. Don't know how. The wheels are falling off, but we're still going. So thank you so much for, your time today and for sharing your story and this beautiful 5 months of getting out of your comfort zone, starting your online training business, and making yourself accessible to women out there. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it has inspired you on your self-care journey. Please feel free to share this with a friend and subscribe over on Apple Podcast. I really love hearing your feedback. So guys, please feel free to write a review on Apple and let me know which part of this episode resonated with you the most. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. To find out a bit more about Self-Care Studio or the Studio Chat podcast, head over to my Instagram page, self_care_studio, or on my website, selfcarebybarbarathomson.com.au. Really look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Look after you. And I'll catch you soon. Bye!